What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. It's a great day to be the owner of some real deal money, aka some real deal silver. And it's an even better day if you're me and got started stacking at the tail end of 2017. In today's video, I want to talk about some of my personal stories since I started stacking silver, and I want to even take it back further than that, the introduction to silver, and talk a little bit about my very first piece. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for a bunch of videos, subscribe to my second channel for bonus videos, and follow me on social media at Mykie DYDSS across all platforms. 4 super quick things before we fully dive into the video. Number 1, get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. We got the brand new "It's a Great Day to Have a Great Day" t-shirt and coffee mug. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. 2, if you haven't already, try you out some Celsius Energy. That's right, it's a healthier alternative to the other energy drinks out there. You can get a 12-pack variety pack on Amazon right now. I will leave an affiliate link in the description so you can try out the different flavors. 3, if you're not already investing and you'd like to get started, make sure to download Webull and fund your account. They're going to give you some free stocks just for doing so, and they make it really easy for a new investor to start investing because of how simple it is to navigate on the app and learn. Remember, I do still plan on taking 3 people before the end of the month and helping them learn about the stock market and helping them kickstart their investment portfolio. So if you want to be one of the 3, please reach out. Webull link in the description. 4th and finally, if you need any stacking supplies, whether it be airtight tubes and capsules, anti-tarnish paper, currency sleeves, mini lock boxes, microscopes, the list goes on. Any and all stacking supplies and any and all prepping supplies will be linked in the description for your convenience. Okay, so in today's video, I want to talk about my very first piece of silver ever. But I also want to talk a little bit about what led up to me acquiring my very first piece of silver. So I first started stacking at the very end of 2017. I believe it was December of 2017. And funny enough, I didn't get introduced to silver in 2017. I got introduced to silver in 2015 or 16. I don't remember exactly when it was. It might have been very early 2016. I remember it was like the winter time. And I invited a friend who had moved, I think maybe when we were like 14 or something like that. Grew up together. He moved to another state right before high school. We reconnected after high school, and I let him know. I was like, hey, you know what we have going on over here? Me and a bunch of our friends from when we were kids kind of started a little bit of a landscaping business together. You probably know every single one of them. And I said, next time you're in New Jersey, hit me up. We'll all hang out one night. So we did just that. And we met up, hung out as the group. It was fun. And he told me, or he told us, I should say, he doesn't have a unique way of making money other than his job. Kind of like how we had a little bit of a friend business, if you want to call it that. He said he didn't really have a fascinating way of making money other than just by going to work every day. He does have a pretty interesting way of saving money. He went on to explain that every week when he gets paid, on payday, he takes a little bit of that paycheck and he goes to the local coin shop and he gets himself 2 silver coins, 2 ounces of silver, every week. And he was explaining, he was just kind of giving us a quick summary of everything. But he was explaining, long-term inflation and the ramifications there to the dollar and how the dollar's getting weaker, and silver is something that he's using as a way of preserving purchasing power and storing value and preserving wealth for the long term and hedging against that inflation, and how it's more private. It's kind of like money on your own terms. And it's like a physical at-home savings account. And he was talking about it. And I remember listening and thinking to myself, this is fascinating. But for whatever reason, even though I thought it was fascinating, it just didn't fully register, didn't fully click. I got it, but I didn't get it. And for whatever reason, after that night, didn't really think about the silver again. And it wasn't until toward the end of 2017 where I've thought about this so many times. I cannot remember what jogged my memory about that conversation that he and I had a year and a half prior. I don't remember what reminded me of silver toward the end of 2017, about a year and a half after. But something reminded me. And it brought me back, and I was like, you know what? What the heck was Steven talking about that one night? What was he saying? Silver coins? He buys silver coins, and people buy silver coins for, basically financial protection for the long term. Like, what was he talking about? So I did a little bit of research, and I looked at a lot of charts. I looked at a lot of graphs. I looked at a lot of numbers, and I read through a lot of articles. I read through a lot of history, and I watched a lot of videos. See, back then, late 2017, there weren't really that many stacking channels back then. There were like 5. And of those 5, I will be honest, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. 3 of those 5 I thought were painfully boring to listen to. The other 2 I thought were actually really interesting. And they present information in a really unique way. And it was digestible, it was easy to understand. And a lot of what I was able to take from those videos were applicable. And I decided, after watching a lot of these videos and reading through a lot of articles and looking through a lot of graphs and charts and numbers and reading a lot of the facts and also reading a lot of opinions and just trying to get as much information as I could before I made a decision for myself. I was going to make a decision either way. I wanted to make an educated decision. So I did all of that research, I did my homework, and I came to the conclusion that this is something that I kind of want to be a part of. This is something that, it's interesting. Not only is it, wealth preservation for the long term, not only is it financial protection, not only is it a hedge against inflation, not only is it a store of value, but on top of that, on top of you and what you are doing with the silver that you have, the coins, the rounds, the bars in your possession, beyond that, the precious metal stacking community, I thought was pretty interesting as well. I was like, hey, you know what? Number one, this is a group of fairly like-minded individuals, and this hobby that everyone is so interested in, to me, seems to be the only hobby that keeps money in your pocket, as opposed to taking money out of your pocket. See, a lot of people have hobbies, and there's nothing wrong with having hobbies that you spend money on. If that's something that you're interested in, if that's your outlet, if that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with spending money on a hobby that you enjoy, whether it be cars, whether it be painting, whether it be traveling, whether it be whatever. But point being is all of those hobbies cost money. Silver is a hobby of mine, but I keep the money. So I was thinking about it. I was like, man, this seems to be the only hobby that keeps the money in your pocket as opposed to taking money out of your pocket. That makes the whole thing even cooler. So the concept is interesting. The community seems pretty rock solid. And I could potentially financially benefit just by acquiring silver. So I was thinking about it, and I came to the conclusion. I made the decision for myself. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to take this for a test drive and see what I think. So I went to a coin shop in my town. It's still there, obviously. I went to this local coin shop. I had never been there before. I'd passed by it hundreds of times. And there have been times where I drove past, I kind of glanced at it, and who knows, maybe driving by the coin shop one night is what jogged my memory about that conversation that my friend and I had about stacking silver and why he stacks silver. Maybe that's what jogged my memory now that I'm thinking about it. Who knows? But I've driven past this coin shop hundreds of times. And there had been a couple of times where I glanced over and I was like, wonder if they got anything cool in there. But this time, December of 2017, I actually took a step inside. I visited the local coin shop for the very first time. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really fully know exactly what was going on. I mean, I understood the concept and I understood why people are stacking silver and I understood why I wanted to start stacking silver, but I didn't really know how to navigate my way through precious metal conversations. I went in and I just took a look around. I knew I wanted a little 1 ounce pure silver coin rounder bar. I just wanted a little piece of silver. So I went in and I got myself this round right here. Have it right here in my hand. This is my very first piece of silver. So I looked through, the glass countertops. I was looking at what they had. I was looking at the inventory, and I decided on this one. And it was for a couple of different reasons. The main reason was because I just liked the way that it looked. It's pure silver. It's a troy ounce, and it looked cool. Now, funny enough, I, at the time, on day one, or at this point, but basically day 0, I didn't know the difference between a coin and a round. I thought they were the same thing. I knew the difference between a coin and a bar. I knew the difference between a round and a bar. Didn't understand that there was actually a difference between a round and a coin. I don't know. They're both circular, therefore they're the same. The bar is a different shape, so obviously it's different. That's just, I didn't know. It was brand new. So I was actually calling this a coin. And funny enough, I actually filmed a video that day. You know how I said back then there were a very small number of precious metal stacking channels? Well, I was already running a channel, and I had been for years. It just wasn't about precious metals. It wasn't even about money. It was kind of just like day in a life videos every single day. People would ask me, they're like, so you just film everything? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I would just film my entire day, and then at the end of the day, I would edit it down to like a 10-minute long vlog, we would call them, and then I would just post it. Whatever I did that day is what I filmed, whatever I filmed is what I edited, and whatever I edited is what I posted. Every single day for years. It's not a precious metal channel. It was a vlog channel. And that was part of my day that day. I just happened to go to the coin shop that day. So, cameras were rolling, and I filmed over the countertop. And I was looking at the different coins. A lot of the constitutional coins that they had. Some of the random 3/9 fine, 4/9 fine silver coins that they had. Some of the bars that they had. Some of the rounds that they had. And I went with this one. I chose to go with this one. I like the way that it looked. It's a very patriotic looking round. The eagle. And I love American symbolism. I love Liberty Bells, Statue of Liberty, the bald eagle, American flag, scales of justice, things like that. Things that just scream America. I like. So that's one of the reasons I was drawn to this. Another reason is, look at the words over the top. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That drew me to it as well. Because what is this channel all about? What is the DYDSS brand all about? It's about pushing and promoting health, wealth, and happiness on the people of planet Earth. DYDSS, for those of you that don't know, it stands for Don't You Dare Stop Smiling. It's a movement of positivity. I start my videos every single day saying, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Blah, 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 blah. It's a great day to have a great day. That's why I recently made t-shirts and coffee mugs out of it. It's a great day to have a great day. Why is that? Because it is. So it just kind of clicked. A message of positivity on the silver round with a bald eagle flying. It's a troy ounce of pure silver, which is also what I wanted. Just kind of made sense. And you flip it over, and guess what's on this side? The Bill of Rights. Not the Bill of Needs. The Bill of Rights. Oh, why do you need it? Don't need it. I want it. And I have the right. The Bill of Rights, with the feather quill right there. 1791, 1991. Gorgeous piece of silver. Funny enough, I don't even know if I have seen this round at any other point. I know for dang sure I haven't seen a video about this silver round. I don't believe I've seen any pictures of this silver round. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody really talk about this silver round, but this was my very first piece of silver. This was my entrance to precious metal stacking. Spot price at the time was about $17. Premiums back then were very, very low. About $1 over spot for generic rounds. $1.25 over spot for Maple Leafs. $1.50 over spot for Silver Eagles. We had it made back then. And we had it made even better a couple months down the road. Keep in mind, this was late 2017. Well, early 2018, spot price started to sink a little bit. And it continued to sink through the first half of the year. Went all the way down to $14. And you want to know what it did when it hit about $14? It stayed at about $14 for the second half of the year. I think it started to maybe perk up a little bit toward the end. But either way, it spent the better part of 2018 in between $14 and $15. For months, it was laying low. And I remember thinking to myself back then, this could potentially be the opportunity of a lifetime. I may be wrong, but silver may never, ever be this low again. And I just got started stacking less than a year ago at this point. I was like, man, it just keeps getting better. Every time I stop by the local coin shop and pick up a little bit of silver, or if I order a little bit of silver online, it seems like within a week the spot price is even lower. By 10 cents, 15 cents, not by anything dramatic, but it just keeps getting better. So every time I prepare myself for my next acquisition of silver, spot price is even lower, which means I get an even better bang for my buck. That's just how I saw it at the time. And that's still how I would see it if spot price were that low. But I spent the entire year of 2018 stacking as aggressively as possible. And somebody asked me in the comments the other day what that means. What does stacking aggressively mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be all in, sell the house, sell the car, and throw it all into silver. It doesn't have to be that extreme. When I say I was stacking aggressively, what I mean is that I was getting as much as I could as quickly as I could. And I was doing the best with what I had, where I was at the time. Whether it be 2-3 ounces of silver here and there, whether it be 5-10 troy ounces of silver whenever I get the chance, as frequently as I can, as much as I can. That's how I was going about doing it. It's going crazy. Sometimes I'd go to the local coin. I would drive on over to the coin shop. And by the time I drive home, there's a package on my doorstep of silver. So, man, silver arrived while I was out getting silver. So I guess you can say I was all in at that point. And part of it was probably because it was a newfound interest of mine, a newfound hobby of mine. And I knew it wasn't like an investment per se, but I knew that there seems to be far more upside than downside. Silver's not perfect. Gold isn't perfect. Precious metals are not perfect. But for some people out there, maybe the cons outweigh the pros, and it's just not for them. For me, I weighed out the pros and the cons, and I knew what all of the pros were. I knew what all of the cons were. The pros outweighed the cons for me. So I chose to dive in. And man, did I dive in. I was getting silver as much as I could. For those of you who have been watching for 7 years now, 7+ years, you'll know I was on some crazy nonsense back then. 2018, maybe it was even 2019, I don't remember. I used to go into, I was in college at the time, I would go into college classrooms, like empty classrooms, like no one's in there, no one's using it. I would set up a camera and I'd film the board and I'd go up there with some chalk or a marker or whatever the room was equipped with at the time. And I would have a video series and it was called Wealth 101. And I would get up there and I would talk about silver. Every video of this series had a different topic. Silver 101, Wealth 101, Stacking 101. And I would talk about different topics, like, for example, the difference between coins, rounds, and bars. The difference between pure silver and what they call junk silver. Things like that. So yeah, 2018 was definitely the most exciting year. But it was like that new excitement. 2019, at that point, I had a little bit more of a game plan. I was being a little bit more strategic. 2018, I was just getting as much as I could. The first half of the year was pretty much nothing but generic silver rounds. The second half of the year was mostly silver eagles and some maple leafs, and occasionally some silver rounds. 2019, I was like, you know what? I want to do this in a slightly more structured way. I want to begin to diversify a little bit. And I want to continue getting low premium silver. So what I did was I would continue doing exactly what I was doing. Predominantly stacking silver eagles, using the Canadian maple leaf as like the second in command coin. Keep picking up some generic silver from time to time, but I made sure, whether I was ordering silver online or stopping by the coin shop to pick some silver up in person, regardless of how I'm trading my dollars for silver, I would make sure every single time, starting in 2019, every single time, I would include at least $1 face value of 90% silver. 4 silver quarters, 10 silver dimes, or 2 silver half dollars. Every single time. So if I get a handful of silver eagles, I'd make sure to throw in, 4 Washington quarters, at least. Every single time. And I was not really interested in 90% silver back then. Didn't really care for it all that much, but I understood the importance of diversification, and I understood the ability that it has to break, quote unquote, break a troy ounce of silver if need be. 6 silver quarters equal about a troy ounce of silver. 14 silver dimes equal about a troy ounce of silver. 3 silver half dollars equal about a troy ounce of silver. You could break a troy ounce of silver with constitutional coins. In 2018, I came to this conclusion. In 2019, I decided, that's what I'm going to do from here on out. 2018, I also started picking up a little bit of gold every once in a while. 2019, I would pick it up a little bit more frequently, once again, for diversification purposes. 2020 came around, and I was like, you know what? This game plan worked amazing in 2019. I'm going to do it again in 2020. I'm going to get as much silver as I can, as often as I can, as frequently as I can, as much as I can. And I'm going to make sure to pick up at least a little bit of 90% silver alongside it. With whatever I'm picking up, I'll get a little bit of junk silver too. And gold from time to time. And then, March of 2020, as Bo Burnham said, the funniest thing happened. Yeah, everything got flipped upside down. Don't really need to get into it. I'm sure we all know. I'm sure we remember. But it caused the spot price of silver and gold to come tumbling down. Silver at the time was about $18, $19. Got smacked all the way down to $11, $12. Gold, I don't remember where gold was at the time or where it got smacked down to, but it fell down by several $100s per troy ounce of gold. Premiums went through the roof because the online sellers picked up a majority of their inventory at like $16, $17, and now spot price is about $12. So yeah, they jacked up the premiums to make up for it. I understand. I get it. They're not in the business of losing money. That's fine. I respect it. But then as the spot price recovered, the premiums didn't disappear like we thought that they were probably going to. Spot price made a full recovery, and yet the premiums were still high. And I mean high like Snoop Dogg. I was used to $1.25, $1.50 premiums, and now we're looking at $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12, $13 per over spot per troy ounce. Like, what in the world is going on here? So 2020, the Silver Eagle, man, of all the, everyday silver coins out there, the Silver Eagle premiums went completely bonkers, way higher than all the other coins. So I came to the conclusion, I was like, you know what, I think me and the Silver Eagle need to part ways, at least for now. It's the foundation of my stack, and I would have preferred to continue stacking it predominantly, but I don't know if I can justify those premiums. So I started snooping around, and I would get some generic silver, and I had noticed in early 2020 that 90% silver was still carrying a fairly low premium at the time. So I started picking up almost nothing but 90%. I would get some random coin rounder bar that I thought looked pretty cool. Sure. But 2020, most of the silver that I picked up that year was 90%. 2021, I pretty much stuck to that game plan. I would pick up just a little bit of 90% silver every now and then. I dialed it back quite a bit because I'd become far more focused on investing as opposed to, something to preserve my wealth, because I realize that I'm on the younger side and I have a long way to go, and time is absolutely on my side. And I don't have a whole lot of wealth to preserve just yet. So it might be smarter to build something for myself, build and grow my wealth and network. So that's what I did. Without abandoning silver or gold, I would pick up a little bit of silver, a little bit of gold every now and then from time to time throughout 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and into the first month and a half or 2 months of 2025. Now I'm picking up silver a little bit more frequently. And I put out a couple of videos recently where I talked about some of the coins, rounds, and bars that are on my quote-unquote 2-stack list. I think it would be nice to get a 1-ounce gold buffalo. My very first one, largest piece of gold I own is a 1/4 ounce. Don't have any half ounces, don't have any full ounces. I would like to get myself a 1-ounce gold buffalo. I'm struggling to figure out if it makes more sense to get that 1-ounce gold buffalo coin. It is at an all-time high. Gold is at like 6 new all-time highs this year so far. Is gold the move? Or are the dollar bills better off in silver? Most of me says it might be better off in silver. I would also like to get myself a silver kilo bar, maybe this year as well. I would like to grow the herd of silver buffaloes. And there are a couple other random coins out there that I'm not going to mention because I kind of want them to be more of a surprise that I'm extremely interested in as well. A coin series, by the way. So that's how I was doing things. And that's how I'm doing things now. Unfortunately, I had a 1-month setback, which is probably going to take me more than a month to recover from the month that I lost, both physically and financially. I got injured, was out of work for a little while because of the injury, but I'm back, I'm rebuilding, I'm recovering, and we're seeing a lot of progress, but unfortunately it's going to take some time. Unfortunately, I have to do the whole one day at a time thing, which is not easy for a very impatient SOB. Anyway, this was my first piece of silver. This is where it all started. And what I think happened when I got this thing and I held it in my hand, that was the first time in my entire life. First time my entire life. I was actually holding on to real money. Or money, period. First time touching money. Because prior to holding this in my hand, I had only ever touched currency. Fake, fiat, glorified, IOU debt note dollar bills is all I had ever held. Or plastic. Debit cards. Or literal junk coins. Coins that are not made out of anything of value, anything of substance, That's all I had ever known. That's all I had ever held in my hand. That's all I had ever received in exchange for giving something away, or what I forked over in order to get something. It's all I had ever bought anything with or sold anything for. Currency, fiat, dollars. This right here was the first time I had something in my hand that wasn't currency, it was money. And it kind of changed the game for me. Now, even though I can't tell anybody to go out there and get silver, I can't tell anybody to go out there and make, financial decisions. That's not my place to do. I can't do that. Nor would I do that. Would not encourage anybody to go out there and get a bunch of silver. I wouldn't encourage anybody to avoid silver. It's not my decision to make. I will say this, though. I do think everybody should get themselves an ounce of silver and just hold it in their hand. I think they're going to probably realize something. I think they're probably going to realize that little 1 ounce of silver might be a really small denomination, a very small increment, very small piece of silver, but you're still holding on to something substantial, something that has a lot of power packed inside of it. It's really cool. And not for nothing, but you can learn a lot about history from different coins. I mean, I have some old coins. I mean, look at what I have on screen right here. What is that Morgan dollar? That is an 1884. How cool is it that we can, just by looking at a coin, 1884, we can go and Google what was taking place in 1884. What was going on in 1884? What was transpiring that year? I mean, just as an example, you can look at the year of a coin and ask yourself, who was the president at that time? Which in this case, it was President Cleveland. You can ask yourself, what wars were going on, if any, were going on at that time? What inventions came out? What theories came out? What movies came out? What was going on at that time? What was taking place at that time? What was the world like at that time? You can go and research these things and learn about history just from the coin that you had in your hand, and you could think to yourself, man, all that was going on that year, this coin was in the hands of people going through all of that. You can learn a lot about U.S. history, foreign history. You can learn a lot about a lot of different things. It's really interesting. It's a fun hobby. It's fun. You learn a lot. I'm still learning. You meet a lot of cool people. You form a lot of friendships. And you build a network for yourself. It's fun. I enjoy it. I have more good days than bad days with silver, and to me, a lot of the time, 9 times out of 10, I couldn't really care less about the spot price. I'm getting something a little bit more out of this than just spot price going up. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself over here. I like making these videos. If I didn't thoroughly enjoy talking about precious metals, or really all things finance, I wouldn't be making these videos every day. At length, by the way, these aren't 3-minute videos. Somebody complained one time that the video should be 3 minutes long. Do you not know what my second channel is? Dang near every video on that channel is 3 minutes long. This channel is for the long form content. My second channel is for the bite-sized content. I have both. Imagine if somebody went to my second channel and said, hey, you didn't talk enough. Go to the main channel. Tuck your friggin' ear off. But for those of you who are looking for more bite-sized content, short, quick, easy, right to the point type of videos, that's what the backup channel is for. I take clips from this channel and I post them over there for people that just want quick, right to the point information. These videos are for discussions, to create ideas, to formulate ideas in people's heads and get people talking. Why do I want to get people talking? because this is something that I enjoy talking about. And the more people that are talking about it, the more people out there I can have these conversations with. This is fun for me. And it's not even just about silver. It's not even just about gold. It's not even just about precious metals. It's all things finance. I enjoy helping people rebuild their credit. I enjoy helping people learn about the stock market and helping them kickstart their investment portfolios, which, once again, I'll say I am looking to help 3 people do that this month. So if you're interested in being one of those 3, please reach out. And you can use Webull. Download Webull, fund your account. They're going to give you some free stocks just for doing so. Make it really easy for the new investor to start investing because of how simple it is to navigate on the app. Reach out to me if you want to be one of the 3 people that I help this month. But point being is that I like all things finance. I used to post videos all the time. Inflation reports, GDP reports, the JOLTS report, what the Fed is talking about. I used to read into all of these things, and I still do, but I used to break it all down into simple terms and highlight the important parts of these different reports, and I'd post videos on them. Go back to 2020 videos of mine. Oh my God, I was posting 2 videos a day, sometimes 3 videos a day. All different types of financial news, covering all bases. I love real estate. I love business. I love the stock market. I love precious metals. I love credit cards. I think financial education is important. So anyway, coming around full circle here. Stacking silver. A decision that I made in 2017. One of my greatest decisions for a variety of different reasons. It got me involved in a hobby that I really underestimated. I knew it was interesting at the beginning, and I was definitely interested in it when I knew that I wanted to go and get my very first piece of silver. But man, I didn't realize how interested in it I would become. I didn't realize how much I was learn. I didn't realize how many people that I would, get in contact with. Just because of this. Just because we have a common interest. Coins. Such a simple thing. Such a simple concept. Just getting coins. People go to coin shows. People do all types of things. I make videos about it. I talk about the different things that I like about different coins, rounds, and bars, different metals, silver, gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium. Financial news outside of precious metals, we talk about that too. And I think what kickstarted it for me was this piece of silver right here. My very first one. This is where it all started, ladies and gentlemen. This silver round, which 7 years ago, I was referring to as a coin. But anyway, I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. How long have you been stacking for? For me, it's been about going on 7.5 years now. What was your very first piece of silver? Let me know in the comments. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, subscribe to my second channel for bonus videos, and follow me on social media at Mykie DYDSS across all platforms. Twitter, Instagram, or X and Instagram, I should say. 4 quick things as we wrap up the video. Number 1, get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. We have the brand new It's a Great Day to Have a Great Day t-shirt and coffee mug. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. 2, if you haven't already, try you out some Celsius Energy. That's right, it's a healthier alternative to the other energy drinks out there. You can get a 12-pack variety pack on Amazon right now. I will leave an affiliate link in the description so you can try out the different flavors. 3, if you're not already investing and you'd like to start investing, make sure to download Webull and fund your account. They're going to give you some free stocks just for doing so, and they make it really easy for a new investor to start investing because of how simple it is to navigate around on the app and learn. Again, last time I'll say this, I do want to take 3 people before the end of the month and help them learn about the stock market and help them kickstart their investment portfolios. We already have 1. 2 to go. If you want to be one of the remaining 2, please reach out to me, and we will link in the description. Fourth and finally, if you need any silver or gold stacking supplies, whether it be airtight tubes and capsules, anti-tarnish paper, currency sleeves, mini lockbox, microscopes, the list goes on, any and all stacking supplies and any and all prepping supplies will be linked in the description for your convenience. Once again, I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. What was your first piece of silver? And how long have you been stacking for? What have you learned along the way? What have you gained along the way? I'd love to know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.